All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen here on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. And some of the right information is going to come from you from the Economic Development Department of California. And we're going to get a message from them right now. We'll be right back after this wonderful piece of information to get you warmed up about who you are and what you can get going for you and your family.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. From support while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, your EDD will help you get there. For more, visit edd.ca.gov.
All right, we're back. This is a very, very important day. It's an important day anyway, but it's an important day because yesterday some idiot tried to take Trump out. And I say idiot because violence is not the way. I mean, we've come too far to not acknowledge that violence is not the way, especially in a domestic dispute, especially in America's election cycle. It's not what we should do. It's been done before. When we first started as a country, we had duels and things of that sort. We lost a president candidate like that in a duel. But I'll tell you what, I might prefer the duel at this point between the candidates as opposed to all of this arguing and hell raising between the people. We're a team, folks. When we go somewhere and they say America, they don't just talk about white people or black people or green people. They talk about all of us. They don't just talk about Democrats or Republicans or independents. They talk about Americans. And we in America have to accept each other's presence as part of the gift of potential freedom, the gift, because we're not all free. We're not free because we are not willing to let everyone else be free. Yeah, see, your freedom is not based on, you say, I'm free. No, you're not free unless you let everyone else be free. Most of us think freedom means I get to do what I want to do. Lay up on my big lazy ass and God will bring it to me the way I want. He'll have it packaged up and everything's going to be all right. No, it's not. We have to get out and formulate, manipulate, and congratulate. We have to work with each other. We have to listen. It's no game. If I go out and play basketball, if I take Mr. Moodmaster, my good friend, out to the basketball court and beat him 10 games in a row and 1-on-1, and then come back and say, "Oh, Anthony, you ain't no good." Then what's the point of me taking him out and playing with him if he's no good? The idea is to bring the best out in each of us, in all of us, and to accept the results with some enthusiasm. Anthony, man, I beat you 10 in a row, and you're the best that I know. I must be getting better.
I better open my eyes next time I play against you. I play with you with my eyes closed.
See, and he did me the favor, pretended that I was the winner, enthused me, made me feel good, but I should not say, if I want to be good as a result of that, I can't say, Anthony, you're no good. That means I didn't do a thing. We have to appreciate the good in each other. And so I'm very upset about this shooting. I'm upset about the shooting for a lot of reasons, many of them because of the interpretations and translations that we are now free to give. I've heard everything from, actually this guy is Biden's nephew, and he was trying to do his uncle. That's bull crap. I've heard that, Trump had this thing set up so that he would be able to create sympathy for. Listen, nobody's going to go in and say, okay, shoot me next to my head so that I can, no. If it was a setup, I'd figure it was a setup if you got shot in the toe. Okay? So you don't have somebody aim at your head and, we've seen the knife thrower, and it comes right next to the girl's head. And we used to think the guy was throwing the knife. But the knife is coming up from behind the board. It's a setup. It's a trick. it's a trick, folks, that the world has potentially put in front of us to pull us apart. And I don't know what part of the world wants to pull America apart, because America is the leader. We are the economic leader. We used to be the moral leader. Right now, we're kind of in the dumpster, and we're potentially pulling the rest of the world into the dumpster. We don't have to do it that way, folks. We've got too much class to get caught like this. We're going to take this short break. We're going to come back, and we're going to continue. And at this point, I'd like to say this. There are some of you out there that maybe agree, disagree, partway agree, but there's some of you out there who may have something on your mind that you would like to share. And okay, for me to say it and be free. If I'm free, then heck, you got to be free too. So today, I don't do this. And you may be surprised. You may think it's a joke. But if you want to call in, Eric, tell them the number they can call in. You can call in, and I will respect that, and I will give you your moment to say what it is.
1909-792-5222. 1909-792-5222.
909?
792-5222.
792-5222. All right, if you want to make a call in and make a comment, I truly, respectfully invite you to do that. And I would really like to have someone who is a fan of Mr. Trump call in. Then I would really feel that not only am I free, I'm helping someone else be free too. So 909-792-5222. Make a call if you'd like to speak to us. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
KCAA.
All right, we're back. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things that we should be concerned about. And, they're pretty much the same things we're concerned about last week. So I'm not saying the world is changing so quickly that our subjects change. Unfortunately, they don't. So, we're still concerned about the heat. The heat, man, the heat, the 100 plus 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 days, 11 days, 12 days in a row in certain places. The heat. I mean, if you're in Palm Springs, buddy, you are really doing it and doing it and doing it. They are 100 and teens, in the teens, 112, 114, 120 one day. This is not just a Palm Springs phenomenon. The only place that apparently has been left out of the hot spotlight is the beach. We look at the temperatures at the beach, and they've been consistently under 80, sometimes in the high 70s. I saw Malibu the other day at 68. So, there is a place to go to cool off, and many of us are not going to jump in the car and drive all the way to the beach, but you can drive to some cooling centers. You can go to the library. Well, they're not open today, but
Second Park.
Succumbi Park.
Yeah.
Oh, Succumbi Park's got it's not a cooling center. They do have a lake, and it's going to be humid over there. But I'm thinking people could go to the mall, go to the movie, go somewhere inside where there's true air conditioning. But if you can't do that, you surely should go find some shade. Or throw some water on you and run outside and cool off. Go outside and spray yourself with the hose and watch what happens when you stop spraying. You'll feel a coolness. I'm not, this is a cheap way to do it, but you got to do it. We don't want to lose people to the heat. We don't want to lose people to the inconvenience of the heat. And carry some water in your car, not just because you're going to want some, but because I can guarantee you're going to walk by, ride by, see someone walking in the heat, and just pull over and offer them a bottle of water. Don't make a big thing out of it. Just say, hey, want some water? Give them some water and be cool. And everybody that I'm saying that to, be sure that the water bottle has not been pre-opened. Don't give them a bottle of water that you've already opened up. Come on now. Let the bottle be a freshly tightened bottle and something that they can trust. This is what we've got to do. We got to build trust amongst ourselves, folks. We can't just assume in this atmosphere of hate. We have allowed ourselves to pick sides as if the other side is the devil. We're picking sides against people that we live next door to, and in some cases live in the same house with. They're not the devil just because they disagree with you about politics, even if they are someone who goes the total 180 degrees away from you. It's still someone that you're going to ultimately depend on, somebody that ultimately can have an effect on your life in a very, very positive way, and vice versa. Our politics are very, very deep. But folks, believe me, no matter how bad the politician is or the policies, we can get through it. You don't believe it? Wow, look at black folk. Hey, we came to this. Well, everybody black that came to America didn't come come and become enslaved. There's many who were very, very powerful, even in slavery. But at the same time, we look at the condition that black people have had to go through in America, and that is, I mean, certainly we can't look back through the politicians in the world and say, oh, well, they like black people and they made it easy for us. They didn't. They made it a little easier maybe than it was on their dog. I mean, I'm serious now, so I'm not talking about getting even. You can't get ahead, folks, if you're trying to get even. Let me say that again. You cannot get ahead if all you're trying to do is get even. So the process and the potential of what America can be is based on how willing we are to use the evil that may have been thrown against us to become the gas, the fuel for us to go forward and not attempt to get even. Now just think about it. As little kids, I hit you, you hit me back, I hit you, you hit me back. And when do we stop hitting back? Well, we usually do it when somebody comes along and says, stop fighting. But we don't stop fighting just because somebody comes along and says, stop fighting. We keep it in our heart until we get a chance to. I guess I remember when I was a kid, and one of the things we would be able to say, Anthony, I don't know if you remember this, is, I got in the last lick. You ever hear that? Never heard that. Well, that's good. That's good. That means you were brought up in a circumstance.
I was through the last lick.
Oh, you were the last lick.
Yeah, but I never started a fight in my life except with you.
But you were proud to have the last lick.
I had to.
Yeah. Well, see, that's my point. So if we feel we've got to have the last lick, the last hit, the last punch, then that means the person who has the chance to put in the last punch, who ignores his chance to get even, has made a step toward peace. Does that make sense to you, my brother? Yeah, play the guitar. That's better. But it does. Doesn't that make sense? What about you, Eric? Does that make sense? Okay. So we have to look for the opportunity to create peace, and which means we have to look for the opportunity to forgive someone. To forget. Well, maybe not forget, but certainly forgive. And forgiving doesn't mean you ran off in the corner and you lowered your head and you sat down in the fetal position and you just said, well, woe is me, I'm going to just forgive. No, forgiving puts you in a position of power. Forgiving puts you in a position of power. Watch how Mr. Trump forgives the shooter. Well, it's easy to forgive him. You know, he got me in the ear,
Please forgive me. Don't hurt me.
but my ear's going to be it's going to be a mark of pride because two things. One, God protected me. Have you heard him say that this morning? He certainly has. He said, oh, if it weren't for God, how many of us have said, oh, only God? So, it moves him over into another group of people that says, only God. But that's the same group of people that he's been able to convince that it's morally okay to grab women by the crotch, that it's morally okay to rape, it's morally okay to try to turn upside down the very thing that he's trying to take control of. So I do not accept shooting Mr. Trump as a solution. But that doesn't mean I accepting Mr. Trump as a solution either. Let's be clear about that part. I am not one who feels that I've done myself a favor by making a martyr out of one who I disagree with or whom I find to be dangerous for the circumstance of life. That part hasn't changed. I think Mr. Trump has a tremendous amount of charisma. I've seen, and you can think about it too, how peaceful some people have apparently been, but in order for them to feel like they're comfortable dealing with Mr. Trump, they have to get into the spewing of anger, the angry words, the nasty words, to say things bad about him as if that's going to make us feel more affection for the speaker who is able to point out the bad things in Trump. No, I'm still looking for the good things in the person that I need to vote for. I'm looking for the things that will allow me to say, whoa, the world's going to get to be a better place because I've got somebody around here who's got a fair attitude. They want the same thing for everyone. They want access to all of our resources for everyone. They want everyone to be able to be educated so that they can be able to think clearly, to think logically, to think in a way that's going to help make the rest of the planet, and that's part of the argument, the planet. What can we do at the planet? Whatever we want to. The oceans are vast. They can handle everything. So let's throw all of the plastic. Let's throw all of our waste. The ocean can No, the ocean can't. I can prove that now because we can count the particles of plastic and junk that we have left in the ocean. Oh, we're not satisfied with that. Oh, we take progress. We take the modernization of our abilities to go into space. And space is important because I wouldn't be able to talk to you if it weren't for space and the movement of communication that takes place as a result of what we've done in space with our satellites. But we've got so much junk in space. We say, well, let's just discard this satellite up here. Oh, that satellite's not working well. It'll fall to Earth, or it'll just keep running around the Earth. And now there are people who count how many pieces of junk we've got in space. This is a people problem. We've got an attitude that says, well, if God don't strike me with lightning right now, it must be okay to do what I'm doing. Seriously, this must be the attitude. We are destroying the planet. We get mad at the people who tell us that, well, maybe you shouldn't just throw that trash in the sink. Maybe you should go over to the toilet to do your toiletry stuff. Maybe you shouldn't just do it in the woods. Well, the bears do it in the woods. Well, yeah, but I think
They do a lot of in the woods.
yeah, but I think that's why we shouldn't, because they do. And my point, folks, is that we have to be responsible. We are responsible, but we have to act like we're responsible. We have to move as though we know we are responsible. We can't just let things fall apart because, well, it seems to be okay to do it that way. Or I'll be dead and gone by the time they dig and find all of this stuff that I've goofed up on. Look at Mount Everest. Okay, we're having a climate change in Mount Everest. The weather is warming up, and you have people now that since the snow is melting, you're finding all kind of trash and junk and dead bodies that the snow has covered up. Well, the snow, life, time does not cover up successfully our waste. We've got to do something about it. Our wasted thoughts, our thoughts that do not produce, our thoughts that tear down each other. So, all of that to say that idiot. Now, which idiot? The idiot that sold him the gun?
Los dos.
The idiot that sold him the gun? It's 20 years old.
They give it to him.
Did he sell it to him or give it to him? Or the idiot that gave him the bullets? Which idiot am I talking about? The shooter? The ones who supported the shooter? The ones who today are going to say, well, it was the people that pulled the trigger. It wasn't the gun. No, the people, they got to pull the trigger a lot closer. This guy was over 500 yards away. You got to have a gun to hurt somebody from that distance. It's got to be the gun. It's not the guy. And if the gun were, man, I'm glad. I don't know. For those who think that it was a show, that the guy was so accurate that he could pretend to shoot at Trump and actually just touch his ear, I don't believe that. I don't think Trump would go for that. You know, maybe if they shot him on the watch or something, that, you know, or shot off his pinky toe, that would be different. But no, they shot next to his brain, a half inch over, and it had gone through his eye. He'd be dead. Now, what happens if Trump had been killed? Now we've got a martyr. Now, if Trump had been killed, I would have to bite my tongue about all of the things that I think he was. No, seriously, I couldn't just say, well, you know, the guy's a con man. You know, the guy's a liar. You know, the guys have a history of grabbing women in the crotch or bragging about it. He's even been adjudicated as a rapist. He's been adjudicated as a guy who cheats the government. Matter of fact, before he got elected, he bragged about how stupid people were who paid all their taxes. How stupid people were who didn't figure out how to get around the government. You know, maybe a lot of people, just like with Google, with the how-tos, maybe people. But he was in a position to lower the taxes, so you wouldn't have to fight and cheat and lie. And he did lower the taxes for his billionaire friends. He didn't do it for you, didn't do it for me. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe there's a couple of billionaires out there listening. All billionaires out there listening, raise your hand. I didn't feel the wind change, so I don't think I got too many of those listening. It's Sunday, they're probably off counting their money. But my point again is, who is this for? What is your response? What is your potential as a result of yesterday's wild shot at former President Trump, candidate for President Trump? A man who 49, 48, 47% of the people in the United States want to be president. Now, I may disregard Trump's, and I said disrespect, and I'll go on and say it. I don't respect what he's doing. I disrespect the morality that he is pretending to push and have. I don't think he's got that level of morality in his home. I think he's willing to read some script. But if you're going to read script that's going to be productive, not script that's just going to tear people up, tear us down. So we're going to take a short break. Let's come back, and as we come back, once again, I leave the offering out there if you'd like to make the call. 909-792-5222. Tell me that I'm crazy. Tell me that I'm brilliant. Tell me that you have a view on this circumstance that's a little different, or continue to listen because you think I am right on it.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Oh, baby. Ain't no- Well, folks, stop the hate. That's the goal. We want to stop the hate. We want to intercept the concept of, I don't like you, and I don't like your mother, I don't like your father, and I just think we should fight. And I don't want to fight fair, so I'm going to sneak up behind you and do something to your body. Maybe I'll make funny signs and hold horns up over your head, or actually maybe I'll cut your tires, or maybe I'll shoot at you. But I'm going to do it in secret. I'm not going to walk straight up to you and let you know how I feel, because that would be too much like, a real conversation. I mean, to walk up and say, hey, I don't like that cap you're wearing. Well, why not? Well, because it says you hate black folk. And I would like to see why you hate black people. Oh, I didn't know I had that hat on. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure you didn't. Hate crimes in California have gone down. Our Attorney General released the hate crime report last week. And in general, all of the incidents of hate are going down. Not a lot, but going down, and that's a good thing. And thanks to the Asian American community that decided that they were not going to just let people continue to have hate incidents where they were talking bad, insulting people, and in some cases actually becoming violent, running up and hitting people, old men, old women. The Asian community said no, they stopped it. When I say they stopped it, they went to our state legislature. Our state legislature agreed that there was too much going on, especially against Asians at that time. Black people are still the number one target of hate in California. But somehow over the period of, 400 years since we've been here, that we've kind of gotten used to it. And like I said, it's become so prevalent that it's become part of the policy that we see. And we don't so much complain about it as we do use it as fuel to go forward. But praise the Lord for the Asian community. They complained about it. The state of California put money on Stop the Hate. And so now we're aggressively with a program to stop the hate. Our hate crime incidents are going down. We have a program for where you can report Stop the Hate, where you can report hate incidents. Your police department now is required to pay more attention to that and to mark down when you call and say, I've got a problem, a hate problem. Someone has addressed me with a hate incident. And they've had phone numbers, and I can give those to you, but I'll tell you what, call the police. Let's keep them involved. Call the state attorney general's office. Let's keep them involved. Yeah, there are local organizations that you're supposed to call, but those are outreach groups, and let's keep them outreaching. But let's let you know that the police, our state, has opened up its arms to hear more about hate crimes, hate incidents, someone road rage, someone looking at you crazy at the store, someone. So there's a solution for it at that level. I say still, as the African American community is doing, go forward. You know, when people try to hold you down, it's a good time to show your strength. If it weren't for people pushing against you, you would never know the totality of your strength. So lean into it. Don't be afraid to lean in, and don't be afraid to assume that you're right when others are coming at you in a wrongful manner. If they're coming at you because of who you are and not because of what you do, if they come at you because of the shape of your eyes or the tone of your skin or the crinkle of your hair, chances are that's going to be a hate crime. And you don't have to put up with it. Or you can be inspired by it, because you can generally feel and be truth right next to the truth when you feel that whoever is exhibiting hate towards you probably is jealous of you and probably is not capable of doing the things that you can do and probably hates themselves and don't know it. And so they're trying to hate you. So I'm not trying to make you ignore hateful people, but I am trying to make you more proud of who you are and more empowered to be who you are despite what they do. And so, once again, the idiot who shot at Mr. Trump, he didn't do it alone.
Yeah.
Somebody sold him a gun. Somebody has made him over life feel that, you know, a gun's a good thing to have. Because you may run into somebody that you disagree with, you may want to kill them. Now, that's not what we in America are supposed to be thinking, is it? But, you know, an AR-15, you know, it's good for killing rhinoceroses and people who have other opinions. I mean, it'll kill a rhinoceros, probably kill the elephant.
It was a big gun like that, and they missed. They only had a little bit of blood.
Well, no, he didn't miss. He did miss. He touched that ear. You know, like I said, I'm not going to go into the conspiracy that this guy was part of a conspiracy to make Mr. Trump gain sympathy. I don't think Mr. Trump would. He's not my guy, but I don't think he's that damn stupid. You know, a matter of fact, I think Trump is anything but stupid. I think he's one of the smartest people on the planet, and one of the most charismatic people on the planet, and unfortunately one of the most twisted individuals who, I mean, if this guy walked down the line in terms of having high morality, in terms of really wanting to help people, the world would be in a better place because he's easy to like. He's easy to like. He must be easy to like. How could he have done all of the things he's done? Cheated all of the people who are standing up saying, well, yeah, he didn't pay me. How could he do that if he were not a charismatic, nice guy to be around? If he were that evil, somebody would have, you know, up close to him, done something to him. They wouldn't have done it from 500 yards away. So, no, this guy is he's the kind of guy you'd like to have on your side if he were the kind of guy you'd like to have on your side. I mean, if I were picking people to be in a speech contest, you know, I'd only change a couple of things with him, but he'd be the guy. I'd want him there. I would just ask that he didn't tell so many lies. Let's find some truths for you to lean on. We've got truths that are beneficial to everybody. Let's lean on those because, Mr. Trump, I tell you, given the choice of a truthful, charismatic, moral-loving Trump and anybody else, probably go for Trump. I mean, you know, he's blonde, blue-eyed. He has the look. He has the, well, I mean, he doesn't look like a great athlete, but, you know, that would make some people jealous if he was all muscled up. So I don't think he was part of a conspiracy, but I do think that whether you know you're part of the conspiracy or not is, if you've been saying it's okay to have guns, if you think it's, if that's a great altar to put your heart in front of, guns, we need guns, you're part of that problem. I mean, we need AR-15s. Why not have a cannon? Everybody should have a cannon in front of their house. No, these guys need these guns to be part of our militia. Well, hell, if everybody had a cannon in front of their house, that'd even be a better militia, wouldn't it? Well, I don't think so either. I'm glad I can feel you shaking your head negative, because some of you guys are shaking your head. Well, I hadn't thought about that.
Militia?
I hadn't thought about that. I should get me a cannon. Where can I buy one? One, I don't mean Judge Cannon. I mean the cannon. Well, Judge Cannon is almost the same thing. And I'm saying Judge Cannon, that's the lady who is saying that Mr. Trump's trial should be put off and put off and put off and put off. That part I'm a little upset about, I have to say that, but it's all part of the game. He made her a Supreme Court judge. Well, no, not a Supreme Court judge. He made her a federal judge, and she's showing her appreciation. Well, I can't be real mad about that. That's just, that's part of the process. So I'm stuck with that. The only thing that upsets me about it is I'm willing to follow the rule, but he's not. I'm willing to say, okay, you won, and you were able to put this judge in who's able to delay the process, maybe even throw it out. And I'd be upset, but I'm not going to hire Jethro to go and shoot her or you. And I'm certainly not going to do it myself. I am going to be a little more worried about what occurs for my grandbabies, but I was worried about that anyway, so maybe whatever I was going to do before, I'll just re-emphasize that and do a little bit more. Once again, the policy in the black community has been to deal with whatever the policy is and go forward. During enslavement period, we came forward. We weren't able to hold us all back at the same time. We came forward. When it was time to fight slavery, we came forward, the colored troops. When it looked so bad that, well, Mr. Lincoln said, I'll tell you what, the only way we're going to win is if we let these black people, Negroes, colored troops, fight for their freedom. And when he allowed that to occur, it didn't take long. So, having won that Revolutionary War and the Civil War, yeah, what does it mean revolution? Well, Crispus Attucks gave you the impetus to want to keep fighting. Maybe you didn't know he was black, but you knew he was. But you knew he was an American, and you knew that was the call for freedom again, the black man. So, I believe over a little period of time we'll be able to convince Trump and the Trumpites that all of us are here for a reason, and we've all done our duty to be here. I don't need you to be shooting at me and raising hell like that. I don't need the hate that comes along with that. And I do need that the government stands up and counts against the hate. Oh, I don't need you to just be, I'm not racist, Wallace. My best friend is right. No, I know that there are people who are not out here spewing hate, but nor if you're not out here spewing anti-hate, like now. I don't need you hating people. I don't need you hating dogs. I don't need you hating anything that God put here on the planet. We need to figure out how to get along. Now, I'll admit I've killed more than my share of flies and ants, and I will be so upset if I find that St. Peter is part fly or part ant when it's time for me to see him, right? Well, Wallace, you're trying to come to heaven, but I see you used to find so much joy in kicking the anthill, I see you used to find so much joy in pouring a little oil on the anthill. and slapping and killing mosquitoes that were simply trying to survive and eat. You really enjoyed that. So we've got a little holding pen over here for you before you get to heaven. We want to, man, would I be upset? Would you? Oh yeah, I'm not the only mosquito killer. I'm not the only fly killer.
I'd be upset if he was there and you weren't there. That's what I'd be upset about.
Say that again?
If he was up there and you weren't,
Yes.
what would you be?
Well, if he was up there, then it would
Thompson?
probably prove to me
Brenda.
that, well, now you said it. So if I go to heaven and Trump is in heaven,
Oh, wait a minute.
that would mean that I was wrong. Flat out. Because I think he's doing some unheavenly things. I think he's doing some hellish things. And I think he's conscious of that because he's a guy who wants revenge. He's a guy who thinks getting even, and he says it, is the proper thing to do. Well, I mean, just from the standpoint of understanding physics, if I am trying to get even, how can I get ahead? Right? So, if I can put that on your mind and you can think about that'll be, hopefully that would be good. So, if I went to heaven on a visit, you know how you go do the open house thing? Maybe I don't want to make a joke out of dying because it's not a joke, and it could happen to anybody that we know, and it does all the time. So, but if I'm wrong about morality, that means a lot of people are wrong about morality. I don't know many men who feel that they could get away with grabbing women by the crotch. I don't know many men who think they can get away with rape. I certainly don't know many men who think they can cheat the government and get away with it. So.
It sounds like somebody's running for president.
Well, right now, I think there's so many people running for president that we cannot recognize who the real runners are. All of us have these great ideas, the great expectations. You guys got to be able to walk on water if he's going to be my president. I'm sorry about that. Trump is letting us know that you don't have to be, it's kind of like that ad for being a good foster parent. You don't have to be everything to be a good parent. Well, I disagree about the president. You have to be willing to listen to everything and think about everybody other than yourself if you're going to be president. Now, that's probably one of the reasons I'm a little upset with Mr. Biden, because there's no way in hell that he can't acknowledge that at his condition, and I'm not going to say age, because there's some people with tremendous numbers behind them who are fully cognizant of everything they're doing. And of course, they are not presidents, so I can't test, how great they would be under that pressure. But I can say that I'm not comfortable with the idea that Mr. President, Mr. Biden, is going to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning in an emergency, clear-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go. I don't think too many people are going to be clear-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go, but I do think someone younger is automatically more bushy-tailed. Now, bright-eyed, we need some wisdom there. We need people who understand, but then that's what staff is for. That's what the bureaucracy is for. So I don't know, maybe Biden is maybe he's going to be capable because of the team around him. I know one thing, if it goes another week without him deciding to step down, we don't have too much choice. When I say we, I mean the people like me who are inclined to vote Democrat.
Have they asked him to step down? Have they asked him? I missed that.
Well, yeah, you've been in Hawaii out there swimming and hanging out on the
Obama's
beach and
beach.
stuff. Yeah, I'm not mad at you, Anthony. I may sound like I have.
You have every right to be
I
mad.
may sound like I have an attitude.
I'm mad at myself for coming back.
No, I know you are. But no. Yes, there are many Democrats and probably no Republicans who are asking him to get out of the race. That in itself should say something. But pride is a big deal, and when you have done as much for politics and for a political party and for ultimately the people that you've been trying to serve, when you count your concept of victories, you wonder, how can people not be thankful? Well, just because I'm thankful for what you did last week doesn't mean I'm going to give you the keys to the car tomorrow. Last week you had good eyes, good judgment, and you were in control of everything. But now you're older, your reaction time is slower, and I don't know if you realize what happens when you press on the accelerator of this Corvette. So I'm not going to give you the keys. I'm going to take a short break and come back before we get out of here because it's important that you know what the EDD can do for you.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
All right, we're back. We're about to close out. Message real good. Folks, treat folks the way you, I said this to someone. I said, you got to treat people the way you want to be treated. He said, well, what if you're in a room full of sadists or masochists? And I said, man, you're right. We can't just treat people the way we want to be treated. And we can't always treat them the way they want to be treated. So how do we figure this out? We have to treat folks in a fair manner. Anthony Garcia, my mood master, my partner, my friend, who's able to keep us in track with the guitar, who we've missed for the last 2 or 3 weeks, just got back from Hawaii.
I want a raise.
You want a raise? Well, you were in Hawaii. Did you ask for one?
I'm asking you right now.
Okay, well, you got one. I'll give you a raise.
Yeah, raise my hand.
I'm going to raise your hand and all that. But Anthony, you were in Hawaii. I'm under the impression that there are so many visitors and tourists coming to Hawaii. And after I saw how people were feeling after the fires that took place, I know your son is there, your family, you have family there. How do you feel as a tourist in Hawaii? Were you open-armed? How did you feel?
I wasn't allowed to be a tourist. My son refused to take me to tourist places. We never went to Waikiki.
Okay.
There was a beach there that probably, I was there like maybe 80% of the time I was there, and maybe at the most there was 10 people there. Beautiful beach, beautiful beach.
So you were able to go and be treated like a person that's local, that lives there. Now I bet you that really pissed off some of the. Say, well, at least if you're over there in the tourist area, we know where he is and who he is. But you had a great time, man. I know you were over there with your family. You get to see your grandson and stuff.
Oh yeah, my grandson tells me, Grandpa, can I see what you look like with all that gray stuff on your face? So I let him shave me.
You let him shave you.
Yeah, smart kid, huh?
Smart kid. That's good.
Then he charged me.
Didn't he charge you? Now, I like that. I like that. Well, Anthony, I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad things went well. And the situation that we're dealing with, this situation of people not appreciating, not liking each other. We had the deal in Barcelona where I have an extended family member who just went to Barcelona on a educational trip. Young man, I guess he's 13, 14 years old, 15. He went for a educational trip and he liked it. And he says he wants to go back and go to school in Barcelona. But in Barcelona, they were actually shooting tourists with water guns.
Wow.
Yeah, shooting tourists with water guns, saying, "Go home. We don't really want you here. We only want enough to help us stay alive and help our economy. But when we get too many of you, we want you to go home."
Jeez.
Well, I can see how people could feel like that. If I had a party and, people didn't want to go home on time, and I looked up and, I thought everybody was home, and I walked through the living room, and there's 20 people still left. I don't know. There's something about how we treat each other that can be improved. And how we do it is not always going to come from the outside, from someone telling us what to do. We've got to internalize this thing to where we want to make other people comfortable, where we know that God is willing to let things happen. I mean, look what he's letting us do to the planet. Why? Not because he doesn't love us, not because he doesn't love the planet, but because he loves us enough to let us decide what to do. You want to live, you want to die. You want to live good, you want to live bad. You want to live loving people, you want to live hating people. You want to live having people love you, you want to live having people hate you.
Well, if you believe in God, then you believe that Satan is here, and he gave Satan the earth to have his way with.
So if you believe in God, you have to believe in Satan.
Yeah.
Okay, so if God is here and he shows you good, he's obligated to show you bad.
If I was God, I would say, I have to do what I say. If I was God, why would you want to give
Oh,
man a
if you
choice?
were God, you would be sure that we all lived in a
There'd
straight...
be pyramids
and
everywhere.
I guess most of us feel that way. Say, well, if it's God, why didn't he strike that guy with lightning? Well, listen, folks, we're here. We're all here together. We've got to figure out how to make it be better. And it's not going to be done by shooting our opponents. It's not going to be done by talking bad about other people's family. It's not going to be done unless we embrace each other. And I'll see you next week under two circumstances. One, if the good Lord's willing. Two, if the creek don't rise. I love you guys. I hope you love me back. See you next week.
But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna